In this lesson, we're going to talk about writing equations from graphs. So we'll use the format y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. When we look at our graph, the first thing we need to find is the y-intercept, or where the graph crosses the y-axis. So for the first few problems, we'll use a green dot to indicate where this is happening. Then we need to look at the next point and figure out what the slope is, or how we get from that first point to the second point. So our first step, we said, is the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. So if we look on our graph, you can see that it crosses at positive 3. So our y-intercept is positive 3. Again, that's where the green dot is on this picture. To determine the slope, we need to figure out how we got from that green dot to the next dot, which in this case is orange. It's the rise over the run for the slope. In this case, we went down 2 and then right 2 to get from the green dot to the orange. So our slope is negative 2 over positive 2. We then must simplify this, and in doing so we get negative 1, because negative 2 divided by positive 2 is negative 1. So we have a slope of negative 1. Our last step is to put our information into the equation. So I like to write it out as y equals blank x plus blank. The first blank in front of the x, or where the coefficient for the x goes, is always going to be the slope. And if you look up at our original equation, we have y equals mx plus b, so m is where that slope goes. And you can think of it as m stands for mountain, and mountains have slopes. Then where the b goes in that last spot, that's our y-intercept. So now all we need to do is plug in the information. Because we got a slope of negative 1, and because we don't write coefficients of 1, all we're doing in this case is putting a negative sign in front of the x. If it was any other number, we would write the number as well, but when it has to do with a 1, we don't write the number. So we have y equals negative x, and then we just need to substitute the 3 in for the b, where the y-intercept goes. So our final equation is y equals negative x plus 3. Okay, for our next graph, we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to first locate the y-intercept, which is right here, because this is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. So it is at negative 1. Now we need to find our slope, and we are rising up 1, 2, 3, and we are running to the right 1, 2. So our slope, we said we are rising 3, and we're going up, so that's positive, and we're going to the right 2, so that is also positive. And then if you remember our last step, we are simply substituting these values into the equation. So you really did the hard part already. So our slope is positive 3 over 2. That cannot be simplified, so it stays just as it is. And then our y-intercept was negative 1, so we're going to substitute in the negative 1. This would be equivalent to saying y equals 2/3 x minus 1. So when you add a negative, or you just subtract, it's the same thing. And you can write them either way. So this will be the last problem where we use color coding for the points. So really make sure you're thinking about how you know where the y-intercept is and where the slope is. So actually let's start with our y-intercept. So the line crosses the y-axis. Remember that this is our y-axis. So the point at which our graph and the y-axis meet is right here. So that is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our y-intercept equals positive 5. And now to get from our green dot to our orange dot, or the y-intercept to any other point on the line, we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my slope is negative 6 over, because I was rising down, 1, 2. And I went 2 to the right, so that is positive. We need to simplify our slope. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 gives me a negative 3. So my slope in this case is going to be a whole number, which is negative 3. Last but not least, I substitute my numbers into the equation. So y equals negative 3x plus 5. So that is the equation for the line that is graphed. Okay, so you need to look at where the line crosses the y-axis so that you can find your y-intercept, and then you can find the slope. And remember, you can find the slope between any 2 points on this line. It does not matter which points you're using. So let's first look at the y-intercept, because that is the easy one to find. So look up your y-axis and see, where does the line meet the y-axis. This top point is the point that we're looking for, and if you count from the origin, 1, 2, 3, 4, you see that the y-intercept is equal to positive 4. Now our next step is to look for the slope. Again, you can do it from any point you want. If you do the 2 closest points, so like from here to here, as opposed to from here to here, then you are less likely to have to simplify. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go from here to here, so I'm rising down 1 and to the right 1. So that means that my slope is going to be negative 1, because I went down 1, over positive 1, because I went to the right 1. And when I simplify, I find that my slope is equal to negative 1. Now I plug into my equation, y equals blank x plus blank. My slope was negative 1, so I just need a negative sign, and my y-intercept was 4. So my equation reads y equals negative x plus 4. Okay, so we're again going to work without color coding. Look for your y-intercept, and then look for your slope. If you want to try this on your own, you can pause the video and resume it when you're ready to check your answers. So our y-intercept is negative 3, because this is the point at which the line crosses the y-axis. So y-intercept equals negative 3, and then slope, I'm going to rise up 1, and to the right 1, 2, 3. So that is a positive 3, rise over run. Plug it into our equation. We're done with the hard part. Y equals 1/3 x plus negative 3, and we can write that a little bit shorter by just doing y equals 1/3 x minus 3. Okay, so we will do one more example. Okay, so here's our final graph for this lesson. I would like you to try this one totally on your own, so pause the video here, and once you get your answer, press play. Okay, so our y-intercept is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so positive 5, and our slope is negative 2 over positive 1, which simplifies to negative 2. So we get y equals negative 2x plus 5 as our final answer. So I hope you have a good understanding of how to write an equation from a graph after watching this. If you still have questions, feel free to rewind or restart this video.